and welcome back to another episode of the podcast No One to Listen to. Now, I know that this episode was supposed to be out last week because a certain somebody, we won't name names here, was sick with a...
Zach.
It was me. Fine.
Zach. Pneumonia.
Yeah. Apparently, I traveled back in time to ye olden times and contracted pneumonia.
Close to death.
Are you done?
No.
No, of course not, because we have another, 2 hours. Of course. All right, excuse me. I'm not the only one. Apparently, I'm one of everybody.
Yeah, right now.
Everybody
God, I don't know.
who was underwhelmed by the less than...
Oh, I thought you were talking about getting pneumonia. I'm like, yeah, that's going around right now.
That too, but I was talking more
Everyone is
about,
getting it.
About the whole...
Oh, yeah.
whole debacle.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Nobody died. They just got really big boo-boos.
Big boo-boos. Well, I guess we'll talk about that, I guess. We're going to be talking about mainly just the RWBY Volume 4 finale, or as I like to just call it, the mid-season finale, because
Yeah.
we know Season 5's coming. Okay, hold on. Give me that.
No, I'm playing with it.
No, stop. That's exactly my point. You stop
I'm
playing
paying attention.
No, you're not paying attention.
Yes, I am.
Also, I don't
Nah.
want you fucking breaking
Fine, I'm done.
breaking shit.
I'm not playing with this now.
God fucking damn it. Anyway.
You'll never stop me.
Jeez, I know Eric's not here, but I kind of, it's like...
He'd just be doing something else.
You would just be doing the same exact
Exactly.
thing.
Anywho.
Anyway. So RWBY
beer.
Volume 4 was not very good.
It was...
Wait, you can go home now. That's pretty much...
I know, we're done now.
We're done.
It sucked. Well, it didn't suck. It was just...
It
The
didn't...
trouble was, there's we got all these storylines that we didn't care about, and the ones we did care about never got even looked at.
Well, okay, I think that's kind of a loaded question, a loaded statement.
Okay,
there
well, the ones
because
I cared about didn't even get looked at.
the
That's
only
why.
storyline you cared about is whether or not Pyrrha's coming back, which
I
we all
know.
know she's not.
Oh, she totally is.
She's not.
That theory's gaining ground.
It's gaining
It's
ground
gonna be-
in the
it's-
shared delusion that is
it's
the
gonna
pure
be-
Nikos,
it's gonna be
like
Cinder-
Arcos fans.
Cinder Pyrrha, call it Cindera. And John's gonna face her, and he's gonna wrestle with...
And then die.
Exactly.
Die.
That's exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna hesitate, and she kills him.
No.
And that's how John dies.
Except that makes absolutely
fiery
no
death.
No sense.
Brought on by the woman he loves
It's
and the
gonna
woman
be
he
one
hates.
of the, if anything at all, it's gonna be those moments like in Kim Possible when Dr. Draken doesn't know who Ron Stoppable is. It's gonna be like that moment, or
It's gonna be like
where
that
Jean's
moment,
gonna be like, "I'm here to avenge Pyrrha's death," and then Cinder's be like, "Who the fuck are you?
Who are you?
I don't
Who is
even
Pyrrha?
know you."
No, she'll know Pyrrha.
She'll know Pyrrha. Well, I mean, of course, because she
She'll know
killed
Kim
her.
Possible.
But she won't know fucking John Arc,
Who's Ron Stoppable.
who's Ron Stoppable.
Like,
This-
again,
this whole
blonde
thing.
and a redhead.
Yeah, that whole dynamic.
It just keeps coming. Blonde male, redheaded woman.
It's happened in all of 3 shows.
Let's see, we got Kim Possible. We got the Avengers, Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Is he blonde?
Yeah.
I thought
Well,
it was
he's more blonde in the first one.
I thought he was just I thought he just had brown hair.
No, it's kind of... Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
I think you're just remembering wrong.
I'm
Just
probably
your theory
remembering
holds
wrong.
up.
I thought it was a little bit... No, it wasn't like it was a lighter brown, on the border.
Maybe, but
Yeah,
point
okay,
is,
never mind.
who
Well,
cares?
you can probably pull more. It's all
Anyway.
everywhere.
But okay, so I've had several discussions with people, with people on the Facebook page about this,
Uh-huh.
about how nothing's happening in Volume 4, and it's
Things are happening.
Things are happening. It's just not very interesting. It's just not
exactly.
very good compared to the last ones. And I keep posing the same question, and of course these mouth breathers have no idea how to answer it. And it's just, how would you make Season 4 work? I'm not. I guess you can answer it if you want, but I'm just generally posing it as a general rhetorical question of just
Put it in the comments.
just how would you make it? Because I know. I have my own theories. There's more than one way to tell a story, and I'll just put mine out there just so I'm
Yeah,
intellectually consistent at least.
I'm listening.
Okay, so
Nobody else is, but I am.
well, it's the podcast no one will listen
Exactly. Continue.
to. So, how would I make Season 4 work? I mean, the easiest, I guess, in the sense that it takes the least amount of steps, is to just make each episode about 5 or 10 minutes longer.
Yeah, but you got to use that 5 minutes.
Well, right, but I'm saying...
I mean, you can make it 5 minutes longer, but it's like...
Well, I think...
If you do 2.5 of them walking in the woods...
Sure.
It's not utilizing your time.
I'm saying, like, with people who think that these extra storylines... And that's the thing, I mean, when you're trying to make a storyline out of, like, a fractured team that kind of... And you're kind of doing this branching storyline thing, you have to do one of two things. You have to make the episodes longer, or you have to add more episodes. You pretty much have to make the content longer if you're going to be essentially adding more storylines.
And see, that's the thing. I think they're now going where it's not wrapping. Everything's not wrapping up in a season. Now it's going to take 2 seasons.
Well, I mean, that's just
what they're doing.
Well, that's just kind of where the story's going.
I mean, I think that's why they announced 5 was coming out like in fall, so everyone's not like.
Well, sure. I mean, I think
pissed off.
Well, to be realistic here, we all knew it was coming.
Like, well, yeah, it's like there's no way it's not coming.
I mean, I think that's probably why I'm not so mad about Volume 4, because it's like I know they're gonna keep going.
I'm not mad about Volume 4, but I'll admit that it was underwhelming.
It was underwhelming for all the reasons that I probably have not heard yet. Like everyone's like, oh, there's not enough action, or oh, there was so much talking. Oh my God, there was like nothing happening.
There's almost no talking.
What are you talking about? We had a whole episode of just nothing.
There was talking. Yeah, never mind.
Let's sit around the campfire and sing our campfire song.
Our CAMPFIRE song.
Uncle Crow sang the campfire song.
Yes, can't. And you see, that's one of those, like, I think that's one of those moments people would harp on because it's like, we're just getting information we already know, and it's like, right. But the characters don't know that.
That's the whole dramatic irony of it. The characters are brought up to speed of all the things that we've known. I think that's what it's so... Not that it's information that we know that the characters don't. I mean, that just has to happen. That just has to happen. I think it's because it was such a long time coming. Like, this is information that we, as viewers, have known for a long while, that they are just now kind of getting picked up on.
And the thing is, like, the other thing was the stakes haven't been as high as they were.
I mean, World Conquest is kind of a high stakes.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like that. Like, Season 1, it was, just some bandits are doing some evil things. Season 2, they're trying to insinuate our anarchy. Season 3, it's like, they're trying to take over the fucking world.
Well, right, and I think another point that that people have brought up is like the villains are too passive in this volume, and I gotta undercut that by just saying it's like you're not dealing with thugs and like
you're dealing with tacticians.
You're dealing with a cabal of you're dealing with the Legion of Doom here.
Exactly, and we saw that with we saw that in the ending where we see Leo is
with Watts.
Yes, which I'm wondering. I wonder if he's like Prince John.
The who?
Prince John, the phony king of England. Robin Hood.
I mean, I thought Watts was always like the Moriarty type of deal.
No. He's not him, but I think like
Leo is. Or?
Yeah, I think Leo might be Prince John. I'm just calling it now. I think he might be Prince John because that would make sense. Because like Leo the Lionheart's supposed to be like.
Maybe he's actually the Cowardly Lion.
That was what I was also thinking. Because maybe like the heads of each, like we got it wrong, where it's like it's not Ty, Crow, Oz, and Summer.
Glenda Goodwitch.
Glenda Goodwitch. Well, no, she is for sure.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
obviously.
She is for sure. There's no other way.
Because everyone knows, like Glenda Goodwitch had a riding crop and was sexy as hell.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And just completely badass in all instances. Anywho, but maybe the heads, because that would make sense, because Ironwood is
the Tin Man.
Obviously. And then Leo would be the Cowardly Lion, and then...
Well, I mean, Oz would still be, Oz, great and powerful.
Yeah, which is fine, that still fits.
Who's now a little boy.
Who's Who's, like, trying to figure out how he's going to use a cane that's the size of him. But yeah, but then that would mean like the Scarecrow is obviously the other,
headmaster mistress thing,
who we haven't seen yet. But that would mean that, which would still make sense. It would just mean Crow's no longer like
the Scarecrow.
Yeah,
which
is perfectly fine because he probably is actually him and Raven.
Are the flying monkeys?
No. They're the Odin.
Odin analogy?
Yeah,
thing?
they're his two crows.
Can we just accept one's a raven?
Two raven.
Well, one's
Odin had two birds, okay?
Yeah, he had like two ravens.
Yeah.
But so one's a crow.
Whatever.
I'm telling you now, there were entire threads of like people debating the difference between a raven and a crow.
But I mean, that's probably what it is.
Trigger some poetry majors there.
Fine. So it's like, Crow, I think...
Can we talk about Crow for a minute here?
Yeah.
And just the absolute, just like, he should have died.
Oh yeah,
Crow should have absolutely died for a multitude 100%. Of reasons.
And see, that's one of the things I have against Volume 4 is like that it wrapped up too nicely.
Well, it wrapped up too nicely in the sense that, I mean, Crow, he's been talking on and on about how, you know, his semblance is misfortune,
which would fit with the Odin analogy, because one of them does bring, I think.
Well, that's just generally a crow thing, is that they
but one of them is
bad luck.
Never mind.
I'm just saying, like, what would have been the perfect moment for Volume 4's finale? I mean, that would bring it
into it, yeah.
Not just going into it, but like you have Crow's been like pretty much just dying for like what 4 or 5 episodes or so. Mm-hmm. Strike one of bullshit. I'll get back to that later. That's a whole nother thing. But what have been the perfect, just like, I wouldn't want to say poetry, but just poignant ending to Crow's arc of just like, just in time when they get help is when he dies. That would be the most misfortunate thing to happen. If at the very minute it's like, Crow, we made it, and it's like, sorry, dead on this weird wing boat here.
Whole nother issue.
The whole nother issue of just
that finale. It's the finale that caused the problems.
Well, I think it was just a culmination of just wrapping it up in a nice little bow. And
that's the problem. Exactly. It's like,
you're not the Lord of the Rings.
There were no repercussions.
I
mean, like, Ren got to kill the thing that killed his father, pretty much.
Well, that's another. I'm putting so many pins on this because
hold on, we're gonna have to go through a list.
We're gonna have to go through so much.
We'll start with the first one. Crow. Yeah, I agree with you. Crow should have either been like died at that moment, or he shouldn't be recovering as easily as he is.
Well, right. And let me just, and I think I know why exactly he just hasn't died, and I think it's because Rooster Teeth has hired Vic Manana.
You can't
kill Vic Manana.
You can't kill Vic Manana. Not yet.
Well, because
you gotta get some money out of him.
Well, right, because it's like you have this iconic voice, iconic. You've built him up as this like Mary Sue.
Not to mention who Oscar,
being Alphonse.
Yeah.
From the original.
Alphonse told Vic Manana to give him his king back.
Yeah. You appreciate just the beautiful irony of Edward Elric calling Alphonse a pipsqueak. Which I think everybody knew. That was
I don't think he knew until like.
Well, the writers knew.
The writers knew, but I don't think the people knew until they're like, wait a minute, that scene seems too. I wonder who the voice. Oh.
Yeah, just.
So yeah.
So you have him in the original, but the fact of the matter is, you have like an iconic anime voice actor playing what is arguably your most like Mary Sue character.
What if they got Dan Green?
Who cares about Dan Green?
I care about Dan Green.
I don't.
He needs some work. Anyone out there listening? Oh wait, never mind.
Dan. Nobody's listening. That's the point.
Dan Green will never get work now.
But here's the thing: you can't. Well, then you can't kill him, because then you'll piss off the fanboys.
You'll piss off exactly.
You'll piss off the fanboys, and you'll have wasted
You wasted the budget for season 4.
The budget to get Vic. Well, he was in season 3. So
yeah, so you wasted the budget for 3 and 4 now
to get Vic Manana for
Banana. My poor vocal cord.
It's almost like that voice just makes him unkillable.
As long as I'm voiced by Vic Manana, we can't afford him this season. Oh no.
Oh well, then. I mean, far be it from me. I know there's more than one way to tell a story, but it's almost like
You painted yourself into a corner a little bit. It's
No,
like,
I wouldn't say. You just missed a really good opportunity for like a really good, well-earned character death in that volume. I'm not gonna say like straight up like
he should be dead.
100%. That's the only way that volume could have been better, but it would have been a great opportunity.
Oh yeah,
It would have been like, that was a death. That would have been a death that was well earned, would have been impactful. Characters would have grown from it, and it's like, come on.
I feel like if they're gonna let him live, there need to be like repercussions, because you can't just be poisoned and then you're like perfectly fine.
Well,
afterwards.
that brings us to Exhibit B here. Venom doesn't really work that way.
What do you mean?
Like, it either is powerful enough to kill you, or your liver metabolizes it, and you might be in agony.
There are things your liver can't metabolize, and that's why.
Well,
So
I think after like,
I'm gonna tell you from a medical standpoint, yeah, he could suffer for a couple of days, and just it slowly kills him.
from what we've seen,
I would say it's possible that he could suffer, but he needs an antidote, or he will die.
which is what I mean. But like,
Which is what was happening.
Well, what was happened? But like, even after days,
Yeah.
days of like, it just
Well, it progressed because it wasn't like immediate.
it kind of was immediate.
It was,
Well, in the
it was
sense
like
that it
next
was like
morning.
Well, that's kind of immediate. Like they fought him at like.
No, immediate's like an hour. Or like 30 minutes.
I'm just saying, if you get stabbed and then the next day you
Well,
can't
he wasn't.
move,
It was a scratch
okay,
across.
injured. If you're poisoned one day and then the next morning you can't even move, that's pretty fast. With a partial scratch, by the way, that's a pretty fast acting poison.
Yeah.
I'm just, and it's
He
like
could probably still move. He'd just be really weak.
he probably would have died if RWBY and the gang were
Yeah,
there.
well, that's the thing. It's like the wing boats are so convenient. Which then
The wing boats.
the wing boats.
It's
I fucking hate the wing boats.
No,
I'm pissed off about the wing boats.
You're not pissed off about the wing boats. You're pissed off the fact that RWBY and the gang are too fucking dumb to just stay in one place to afford an airship.
Exactly. That's what I'm mad about. I'm like, you mean to tell me there are wing boats that can transport people? Between city? I mean, that's the thing. It's like, are they only for patrol? Because otherwise, there's no way you can justify them walking anywhere.
Well, right. And that whole thing of just like, because here's the thing. Where the fuck were they when they started this whole goddamn trip? They were near like
Civilization.
They were near Beacon.
I have no idea where the cabin is.
We can assume it's not too far from a big city.
I think it is. The cabin?
Yeah.
Ty's cabin? No, I think it's like out in the sticks.
I'm just saying.
Which kind of raises the question of how the hell has he survived for so long?
But here's the thing. Just stay in one place because obviously they could. They can take a job or two.
Oh yeah, and they did.
And they did.
That's how John got his new armor.
Well, right. So you can afford, like, it doesn't even have to be an airship. Literally any form that isn't just walking. Because here's the thing. I'll say it again, Rooster Teeth. You are not Lord of the Rings.
You're not Lord of the Rings.
You are not Lord of the Rings.
It's
where you
not
can,
Lord of the Rings.
You have
You proved that
technology.
season 3.
You're right.
You proved that season 3. This isn't Lord of the Rings.
But god damn it, like
It's like
that whole thing about like it's all about the journey. It's like bullshit. You have the means.
Exactly. See, you can say, oh, it's all about the journey, when there's nothing that they could have taken as an alternative for that journey. So like if it's like, okay, so there's no formal terrain on which you can drive cars on. Yeah, you know what, that makes sense. It's a little hard to do off-road.
Not even a horse.
Do
they not
even
have
horses? No, they have horses.
They have horses.
Because Amber was on a horse when she got killed. Or
horses
severely wounded.
Okay, here's the hierarchy of transportation here that is available to these fucking
Bicycles.
teenagers. You have airships. And it's like, okay, that might be a little expensive to ferry an airship.
Yeah.
Okay, you have maybe civilian transport if you can't, or maybe some sort of military transport airship if you pull some favors. which might be a little out there. I'll get you.
I mean, they know Ironwood, but
then you have cars.
He already helped Yang, so. And there's plenty of cars.
Yeah, you have cars.
Season 2 finale fight proved that.
And it's like, okay, fine. None of them can legally drive and operate a vehicle. Okay, they can handle high-tech weaponry, but cars are just out of their.
Nobody can get a license. Bullshit. John's like 17.
Sure. It's like, okay.
I think Piro is 18, so.
Okay, then you go down to.
Everyone's 16 at least. They can drive a fucking car.
Then you have like motorcycles/scooters,
which Yang's shown to.
Which Yang has a motorcycle.
And she's 17, so.
Sure.
It's entirely possible.
It's entirely possible for someone to at least have a Vespa, a little beep Vespa. Okay,
maybe not good on off road, but
whatever. Sure. Then you have ATVs. Yeah, obviously in this high
anyone
tech,
can drive a fucking ATV.
Anyone can drive a fucking ATV.
Obviously,
they have the technology to get an all-terrain vehicle.
Maybe that's it. You just don't have enough fuel.
And then, of course, then you get down to bicycle. Bicycle, of course,
you are the fuel.
You are the fuel, and on that same level, and maybe even a little bit higher, is. Like I said,
bikes can go off
horses. Road. Horses are better than bicycles.
No,
I think.
You gotta feed horses.
Yeah, but horses go
they
faster than
everywhere.
bicycle. You're not sleeping in this shit. and then okay, so then if all those options have been exhausted, and you can't possibly get anything like you can't even get a horse. Then sure. Then you start walking. But only after you've exhausted all of those options.
Maybe that's the thing. ATV, car, all those require fuel. Maybe there's not enough what, gas? Yeah.
But obviously
you'll make it like halfway and then it's like, shit, I need a gas station.
Look, I mean, or obviously we're in a super futuristic high-tech world. Maybe they have like run on dust or something.
Yeah, but maybe that's it. There's no mobile midway.
Horse.
I'm not disagreeing with horse. I'm just saying, you know what, cars and that kind of makes sense.
Rooster Teeth, what do you have against horses?
What's against the horses? Is it too hard to animate a horse?
It might be.
Maybe that's it. No, because the Grim.
Because then we get to the Grim, the Knuckleave.
The Knuckleave, which I'm not.
I am opposed to the Knuckleave 100%.
I am not. I feel it was perfectly fine as the final boss. They just didn't use it well enough.
I feel like it was entirely wasted, and I think they just picked it on aesthetic alone.
My thing was with that scream, I'm like, why isn't that summoning other Grim? It's like,
I don't know, maybe because
missed opportunity.
Maybe Crow already killed them all.
Maybe that's it. Crow hoarded all the XP.
There.
That's why they couldn't defeat the boss.
Because Crow was grinding the XP.
He's
hoarding it all.
Thwarting the plans.
But Lord Almighty above, it was...
Go ahead.
I'll just say it outright. That was probably the worst Grim that they've ever designed. Easily, in my opinion. Like the dragon, the water serpent thing, any grunt, all of those were much... Even the Regigigas Grim, Grim,
that was so cool.
That was so cool as fuck. That was cool as fuck. This Knuckleave one,
disturbing.
No, it was just stupid. It was honestly the dumbest.
I felt it was
designed,
disturbing.
Stupidest,
the shit
most
out of me.
Underwhelming Grim I think that Rooster Teeth has ever designed, and I'll tell you why. Because, I mean,
why don't you like it? Tell me why you don't like it.
I don't like it because I think they based it entirely off of design alone. Because I actually looked up what the Knuckleave is in Scottish folklore.
Okay.
And it does absolutely nothing that this Grim actually was supposed to do. Because here's the thing. The Knuckleave is not some sort of ultra mega super demon. First off, it's a seafaring creature. It comes from the water.
That was the weird part.
And it usually is on coastal cities and or beaches. It comes from the ocean, pretty much.
Which doesn't make sense.
I mean,
horses can't swim.
Well, you say that, but then it's supposed to have. It's pretty much supposed to be just a harbinger of doom here. Its breath is supposed to bring along pestilence, sicken livestock, destroy crops, and is supposed to essentially just try and take people.
See another opportunity for Crow to die
from there.
gracefully.
And yeah, it's supposed to have like this like wailing screech, but that's supposed to just that's just supposed to be scary. It's
See,
like,
and that's I didn't hit that screech just creeped the hell out of me.
but it's like it's so fucking dumb, especially
Well, that's
like,
what I mean by saying it was underutilized. It's like that screech should have summoned like other Grimm or
then that would just made it into like another season 2 finale.
yeah, but it would also raise the stakes. It's like, okay, shit, we have to protect Crow. We have to kill this boss, and it's just the 4. It would be a much grander, because it's like now you have 4. They're getting exhausted. It's like the stakes are raising, and then you could have the wing boats come in.
Wing boat. I like how we're just calling them wing boats.
They are. That's what the fandom's calling them.
These boats with wings.
They're wing boats.
Wing boats. Yeah, that's
and they
what
fly. We'll
they
call
fly.
them wing boats.
Um,
They got it right on that one. And I mean, that's something that, like I said, I just feel like they underutilized it.
They
in that
underutilized
regard.
it in the sense that it was a complete... Like, here's the thing. They hyped this thing up big time. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
it was
supposed to be the genocidal killing of people, killed Ren's parents, killed his whole village.
And see, that's the thing. When
and
it
it was
first,
taken down by 4 fucking teenagers.
and that's the thing. It was 4 teenagers on their own versus this one Grimm. When we see it in the village, it's like there's other Grimm around it.
I mean...
No, but I mean, that's the thing. It's not just... It's like... It makes sense why the village couldn't kill the thing, because they're trying to fight, like...
other
Ravens, Bear Grimm, Wolf Grimm. All are coming at him while also trying to fight this thing. And this thing's pretty much like just... It's like, you ever have like the big boss battle in a video game?
Well,
And they just start spawning mini-me's?
Well, that's
That's
not
what it
all-
was.
Well, that's not all of them, but I can see
Well,
where
that's
you're
what it
coming
was
from.
with the village, yeah. It's not all bosses do it, but some do. Some
Right.
games have it.
But like from what
that's
we've seen, we have been led to believe that even without its like underlings, this thing was supposed to be a force that was reckoned.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I wouldn't say like, oh, it's just, it took on a whole village by itself. No, it didn't. We saw it didn't. There was like ravens and other shit that were with it. So
I mean,
it was
I
kinda
think we can assume though that it was supposed to be extremely powerful.
Oh yeah, it's
Because
I'm
not
not
all-
disagreeing that it wasn't
Right.
presented as extremely powerful, but it's one thing to say like, oh, it didn't decimate a whole village on its own.
Well, right.
I won't give
but
it
then we
that,
also
'cause
say
it didn't.
We also see that it, like before Ren sees the cave that has like strewn about bodies, weapons, and blood
Mhm.
just everywhere, and we're led to believe that the Knuckle Eve did that single-handedly. We're led to it. I don't know if it was that
I don't
for sure.
I just feel
but
like
we're led to believe that.
I don't know that scene. I wasn't sure what was going on there because I'm like, was this like the war,
I think that was supposed to be its cave. That
like trophy room, or
I would just say it's cave.
or it's like this was a spot like people took refuge and tried to defend themselves and they failed.
I'm just saying this thing was... Look, I think we're all beating around the bush here, and we're just not calling this thing what it's supposed to be. The wacky waving inflatable arm flailing
Two man, yeah, pretty much.
It's the wacky waving inflatable arm
Which
flailing tube.
I didn't.
It's just as intimidating and just as effective as the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing
It
tube
was
man.
pretty. See, that was when I'm like, wow. And that's another thing. I feel like if you have that much mobility, it should have been a lot deadlier.
Well, we see that the only power it has is its waving arms and...
Yeah, but I'm like, I feel like that should have. I don't know. Like I said, I feel it was underutilized. It's like you have that much mobility. It should have been putting like Nor, Ren, Ruby, and John when it's throwing them into like more like it should be it should pretty much aim them at spikes.
Look, here's the thing. Also, when you have like, especially with like the first time we've ever seen this thing, what was the image that was in your head when you first saw like the outline of this thing?
Death.
Close. A horseman of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like just
Death.
death.
Like death because Crow's dying.
Sure.
And I was like, this will probably be what kills him.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I looked at it as like, this was going into the finale. I honestly was thinking, okay, this is how Crow's gonna die. Pretty much, not be taken by the poison, but pretty much last ditch effort, save the kids, sacrifice himself.
And that would have been another.
I know, and that's what I mean. Like, missed opportunity again.
Just absolute shit show.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as final bosses go, yeah, I'm gonna put the Knuckle Eve as the most disappointing boss fight in the series.
I'm gonna critique that just a little bit. Most disappointing because it was underused. I don't think at the base it was bad. I think they poorly executed it.
All right, I guess that's where we're gonna have to agree to disagree because
I don't think it's itself as bad. I think they just used it bad.
I'm fine. You give it like a D-. I'm giving like a triple F plus.
What do you see here? 2 Ds and a half.
And of course, through that fight, we finally have the emergence of Renora. What's the shipping
Renora.
called?
Renora.
Is it?
I don't know.
Who gives a shit?
That was Pink Lotus or something.
Shippers ruin lives.
I don't. That one wasn't like a ship. That was just like, can we just have that already? I mean, you took Pyrrha and John away from us. Can we just have Ren and Nora?
Yes, we'll have 2 B characters who we honestly have like
say like 2 words.
Who say like 2 words the entire time.
And now they're in love.
And now they're like
so
totally
they can form 4-word sentences.
Sure, absolutely. Now we can meme twice as hard. Now that we have Team Boop or something.
Team Boop.
But yeah. So we had all that shit going on. The finale.
Yeah. So see, here's another part where we see Watts and Lionheart. I'm like, that should have been. Like, that's where I feel like they cut the season short. Like, they're pretty. I look at it as, like you were saying, you have 4A, which is what we have, and then the other half's going to be season 5, 4B.
Pretty much.
And I'm
this is a mid-season finale.
Exactly. This is mid-season.
I feel to see this as
the real finale should have been Watts being revealed that Lionheart's with him, and some sort of sabotage that's led to, I don't know, maybe Ruby being captured or John being or something. Pretty much something where Watts is revealed. There's some bad ending because of it. That's what should have happened. That's what should have been the finale, in my opinion.
Maybe.
And I feel like they're saving that for 5, and I'm like, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, how do you think, when we talk about, like, these branching storylines of just, like, team... Like, which storyline do you think was the most, like, the biggest, like, out of Blake's, Yang's, Weiss's, which one would you say, like, yeah, we can go ahead and fuck that right off? Which one do you think? You want me to say mine, and then that'll give you...
Honestly, it's going to be between Blake and Yang.
Blake and Yang?
Yeah.
You're not even going to touch Weiss's?
Weiss's, I'm going to give Weiss's because...
Oh my god, Weiss can fuck right the fuck
No, because Weiss... I feel like Weiss, the character, was pretty much wasted. But I feel like her perspective gave us a lot of what one of the other... Like, pretty much what the kingdom of Atlas is thinking. Like, right now. Like, Atlas is pretty much like, we're not doing anything, we're done. And they're like, I mean, that kind of gave a perspective of, like, what are people actually thinking outside of Vale? And it shows, like, you show the rich are like, they just don't give a shit.
Well, the rich always don't give a shit.
But you realize that that's Atlas. Atlas is the rich, the upper class. They're like, we don't... And that's the thing. And it's like, people are, like, who's Mr. Schnee? I can't remember his name.
It starts with a W, I think.
Walter?
I want to say that,
No,
but
it's
I'm not
not
entirely sure.
No, Whitley's the son.
Whitley, the gay little shit.
Anyway, Mr. Schnee. Because it's like, it's like that whole party is keeping the rich appeased so they keep spending money.
Sure.
Essentially, it's like, and that's a pretty impactful thing because it shows like the kingdom is only cares about itself. And I mean, I know it's stereotypical, the rich only care about themselves, but what it really shows is that there is a separation. The kingdoms are already dividing.
But who's to say that this wasn't already the case, like, during
They
peace
could, but now it's like you have evidence of it. And I mean, and even, I'll take it back. I think it probably was...
Did it really deserve, though, like, what was it, like 4 episodes?
Yes, for Big Daddy Ironwood.
To just show off his massive balls?
He needs 2 seats on the council. Why? To hold each of his giant balls.
Of course.
And I'm just like, see, that's where I will give it a mark. I'm like, you should have shown not Mrs. Ironwood. You should have shown like Mrs. Schnee actually like going after Ironwood or being an alcoholic, just to kind of
getting after that
iron
dick.
Exactly, like either being an alcoholic and it's because James scorned her or something. I don't know. See, it's like that's one I'm be like missed opportunity there. You didn't show why. Why the hell does she like the... is it Arthur Schnee?
I don't... Just go, Mr. Schnee.
Mr. Schnee. KFC.
I was going to say...
KFC. Why she fell in love with KFC. And it's like... And I think part of me just wants to play in that theory that Ironwood is Winter and Weiss's dad.
That's fun.
I like that one.
That's a fun one.
That's a fun one. And I'm like, I would have liked to have seen some interaction to either disprove that or enforce it. And that's kind of one disappointment I have with Weiss's storyline. Blake's, I kind of feel...
Blake's was a little bit of a broken record.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that we got from it, though... I think from Blake's storyline, we pretty much got all the things that we wanted... minus the fact that we had to deal with Blake. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the Kingdom of Menagerie.
Yeah, you wanted to see what it's like for faunuses.
Wanted to see the parents. Wanted to see the White Fang.
Once again, this is like the season of dad roasts. Like with Bagheera looking at Blake going, honey,
why don't you wear armor?
Why don't you wear armor? You know, you just got stabbed in the stomach. Why aren't you wearing armor there?
Well, right. Yeah, a season of dad savagery.
Exactly.
But it seems like Blake's story was the most interesting world building wise because it had the least. Yeah. And it's like what was the only negative of Blake's storyline? That was about Blake.
It was Blake.
Who the fuck cares?
She's kind of a
Blake?
bitch.
It's cause, yeah, it's like
she's a bitch, but everyone around her is amazing.
Well, right.
I love
but here's
Gira.
The thing, like
I wanted more of Gira.
Well, right. Blake's always been a bitch. And it's like she's never, ever, like from season 1 up until season 4, she's always just been that bitch.
Yeah, and it's like she's not going against her character.
Yeah, she's not. Like, but it's like, come on.
There's no growth.
It's a broken record.
That's the thing. There's no growth. Well, I take that back.
There was supposed to be growth, but
there was a little bit at the end of the finale. But we'll see how far it goes.
Well, right. But here's the thing: throughout the whole series, there's been quote unquote growth for Blake,
not
where
really.
she's learned that's why I'm saying quote unquote. Because she's supposed to have learned something from all this.
But she still acts the same.
But she still acts the exact same way.
And that's the thing. It's like the finale,
and
after Sun is recovered, is where we're starting to see maybe she's changing.
Here's the thing. After 4 seasons, you can't have your character just acting...
Be stagnant
after 4 seasons.
And everything that's happened.
Sure.
So, I mean, but
hell, even Weiss is fucking changed.
Yeah.
Well,
Weiss is like more...
Weiss has changed.
See, that was the thing. I loved the party scene, where she pretty much goes off on the guy like, do you have any idea? And it just, like I said, that just brought home what the other kingdoms are thinking. Sure. It also was a moment for Big Daddy to come save her when she summons the warthog and Ironwood comes to the rescue.
It seems like
once again, season 4, the dad's rule.
It's honestly like I'm looking at the characters for RWBY, and especially after the end of Volume 4, and it seems like my least favorite. It seems like here, like maybe at the beginning, the hierarchy was like Yang, RWBY, Blake, and Weiss. That was my hierarchy at the beginning. Now after Volume 4, it's more of like Yang, Weiss, RWBY, Blake.
Yeah.
Ruby and Blake have to be the least interesting, just most boring characters that Rooster Teeth has.
Well, see, I was
so
gonna
far.
say like storyline wise, Yang we really didn't get a lot of. I mean, we didn't really get a lot out of it other than seeing her come back from her depression.
I think Yang's I think it's gonna be a waiting game with Yang because with her with her personality, with her upbringing, you could expect her to like bounce back from it pretty fast, like physically,
But not mentally.
But not mentally. I think
And
it's definitely going to be a.
You think there's still going to be a struggle?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Like when she sees Adam, because she's a menagerie now. Then it's going to be like.
Well, that's if he's in there. He's not. She's not in Menage.
I thought Yang was in Menagerie.
No, she went to Mistral.
Oh. Okay, well,
because it was like they could either go to the Bandits where she could probably find her mom, or she could go to Mistral where she could help Ruby.
Ah.
Yeah.
I thought. See, I think it.
That was the thing because she's like,
well, right,
you're in so much trouble when I find you, sis.
The ship thing threw me off because she was on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that threw me off. But anyway, I mean, she's gonna see Adam again.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
But I think Adam's like in Menagerie, not Mistral.
Oh well, I mean,
because I think the White Fang's gonna.
But here's the thing. Here's like why did I like the reason I put Ruby at the bottom this season.
You're putting Ruby at the bottom.
I'm putting Ruby like next to Blake.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because here's the thing. Like, despite the teary-eyed like fucking pull my heartstrings letter she wrote at the finale, Ruby has not learned a goddamn thing.
No.
Like, she is like a stupid wannabe naive leader. And
See,
I'm like,
and that's the thing. It's like people are like, who's the leader of Ranger? Who would you say is the leader of Ranger?
John.
John. Yeah.
John. There's no question.
There's no question.
And
it's like, and why is that? Because who's telling everyone what to do?
John.
Who's coming up with the strategies?
John.
Who's deciding what needs to be done? And that's the thing. It's like, I think you actually said this once when we were at dinner. Going from 1 to 4, you see John starting out as not a leader and becoming the leader. And by like 4, he's coming into the role. He's not a perfect leader, but he's growing it. He is one, but he's growing. He's improving. He's not perfect.
I know, yeah.
But he's improving. He's getting better.
He's at least
definitely showing that he's getting better with. It's essentially with John. You see each battle, he gets better.
You see him like, because here's the thing. Here's my whole thing about Ruby.
And Ruby, you see like at the first season, she starts, but she's just gone down as a leader.
I don't think she's gone down. I think she's just stayed the same. She has just stayed completely stagnant. And here's why. It's like, it's almost like Rooster Teeth is playing some sort of just grand parody with Ruby at this point. Because hear me out. Hear me out. You have the titular character who is the namesake of the show and the namesake of her own team, essentially essentially showing all the like superficial change of just like adapting to a situation, but not actually like mentally or as a character growing, so that she can always be the poster child of Ruby. But it's like the grand thing is like no matter what happens, Ruby never changes, despite her being a leader, quote unquote, the titular character of the series and the poster child of the whole series. She is like the Ash Ketchum. She is never
going to change.
She has never changed since season 1.
And that's why I feel.
So it's like, I think if we just adjust our expectations and just look at Ruby as just a poster child of just like,
it makes sense.
She's just gonna be the Mary Sue.
Well, it's like, when is she gonna get to do the like
the
super
power? Oh yeah.
When's
Don't
that
forget
like
the chosen one kind of super special specialized prophecies.
What if I get silver contacts? Does that make me special?
Right. like that whole mention of it, like this entire season.
That's another thing. Why didn't Crow address that at all?
Because it's stupid.
There you go.
I think even Crow...
Why didn't Crow, like,
I think even Crow thinks it's a
should
stupid
probably talk
gimmick.
about that. I'm like, really?
That's
another thing. That's another part of season 4. It's like, you didn't address that one.
Because I think even the series is trying to forget that she has that.
That happened. It's
because
like, we did it now.
Because it was like when it happened, it was like a literal like Deus Ex Machina.
Oh yeah, it just showed up.
It just showed up, no explanation, no rhyme, reason.
They killed Krillin.
But it was a literal Deus Ex Machina. It was only there to so that Ruby could save the day, quote unquote, save the day,
Not really.
because Pyrrha still died.
Yeah.
And Salem still lives.
Ooh.
But
I'll never be able to watch
you
Volume
know
3.
what? At that point, it's like discussing Ruby's character or lack thereof.
So
I almost
season
want to put her
3,
like,
episode 12 never happened.
yeah, I just want to almost put her at the like here's it's like almost like a pyramid. It's like you have Yang at the top, then Weiss, then Blake and Ruby like tied for last.
I don't know.
place.
I'd put Blake ahead. I'd put Blake ahead just because her storyline contributed more.
I think maybe, but I mean personally, I just
As characters, yeah, I'd put her
as characters like even from season 1, episode 1, I was not interested in Blake.
Yeah, but
Season 4,
we all
episode
have those
12,
characters we don't care
I'm
about.
still not interested in Blake.
We all have those characters we don't care about.
Well, then
like
that's why-
even from the beginning, I didn't care about Ruby.
And that's why
Main
that's why
character of the show, and I'm like, I just don't give a shit.
Well, right, that's why I put her at the bottom of my pyramid.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm only watching for John and Pyrrha. And now John.
And now just Sean. Okay, all right. So,
Oh,
so then
God,
I
when
guess
he dies, that'll be...
out of. So what are you just not gonna watch?
Just gonna be like, don't know what I'm gonna do now.
So I put in my character. So okay, so only of the Team Ruby, where would you put your?
Oh, I put like, probably I'd follow you, Yang, Weiss, Blake, Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, of course
They're not my team. They're not the team I care about.
Well, of course.
My team's Juniper.
The B team, of
I
course.
love Juniper.
We're okay then. Let's that's not even assume. Of Team Juniper, what's your
Pyrrha, John, Nora, Ren.
Ren at the bottom?
Yeah, Ren at the bottom. Especially after this one, because it was like Ren didn't really.
Ren's backstory was something I've never asked and never wondered. Like whenever you think of Ren,
like
it's like
Ren and Nora together, their backstory, and it was like
backstory I've never cared about.
Apparently Nora's an orphan.
So now I super don't care about Nora.
Yeah, it's like
oh, she has no backstory other than that.
she has no parents.
No parents, no village. It's like, oh, we could find out how she became. It's like, yeah, but I
And see,
don't
that's
care.
I mean, Ren's backstory wasn't like Ren's backstory still contributed. It pretty much shows what, because we've always wondered why can't these towns just survive? It's like, well, the thing is, there's not enough hunters to keep them alive. Quite frankly,
I think I was. I mean, far be it from me. I was trying to stay awake during Ren's backstory. It was so fucking boring. It was just so fucking.
I felt it was stereotypical. It's like,
It was
yeah,
like-
you're gonna see that.
I could see
everyone's
that-
gonna die.
Everyone's gonna die. Oh look, it's the Hanzo meme because like freaking Ren's dad is a Japanese archer
Samurai.
or samurai motherfucker.
Archer / whole bunch of stuff.
So there's the meme there.
Hans.
But I could see the fucking stencil marks. It was so cookie cutter that I'm just like,
Yeah, it was like, no, I'm not disagreeing, but I am
oh, so fucking.
I am saying it did add to why can't you set up a town? Essentially, why is it only the kingdoms are
Well, right.
standing tall?
I mean,
like,
we
why can't you
clearly
have
saw
any
in this
outlier
volume that
cities?
there are outlier cities.
There are, but it's like, I think from the first episode we see that a lot of these outlier cities depend on traveling hunters to keep them safe.
Which begs the question, I guess, like, why?
That's what I don't get.
I mean,
I think it's because, like, I think what it pretty much, if we look at it at face value, it pretty much brings up the point of hunters are rare in this society.
I don't particularly believe that. If there's
No,
entire
I mean, like,
schools that are dedicated
there's
to
schools dedicated, but only, like I put, like, there's probably a bunch of first-year hunters,
Mm-hmm.
and of those first-year hunters, probably half die on their first mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, some maybe live. After that, 50%, maybe another 20 die after 2 years.
So then here's the thing.
Like, I don't think hunters make it to old age.
Why? I mean, like, and this is just some world building, like, theory crafting bullshit here. Is like, if I had these academies where they can train hunters and all that. It's like, okay, there's your supply of hunters and whatnot. Maybe they're experienced, maybe they're not. Who cares? It's like, okay, so if you have your citizens who are going outside the city walls to set up settlements and all that, it's like, then why don't you set up academies there? Train hunter, like take some of your alumni that have
proven themselves, have lived for more than 5 years. If you live more than 5 years, you can teach. Move them to these, because obviously they work in some sort of pseudo-military kind of thing and or freelance, so they obviously have some sort of order. So just move them to these outer cities to either train / protect these new outposts. And then there you go. I think you're probably bringing up why it's security. It's like safety in numbers. It's like, so say like 30 people leave the city. Well, over like 30 to 100 leave, and maybe you have 5 hunters. It's like, yeah, maybe 5 hunters can help protect a city, but still, it's
right, then
which academy are you gonna go to? The one out in the sticks or the one in the big city?
Well, that's just it though. You don't, like, you're not gonna like go out in the sticks to go to you pretty much breed them in there. So it's like you take the city of like say 100 people.
Oh, you're saying you take like the citizens in the town and train them.
To train them in these new, and then now you have feeder schools. Then you feed them off to the academy when they've become of age, and they've had sufficient training from your alumni. And then that's how you feed schools. Didn't RWBY from fucking episode 1, season 1, say that before going to Beacon she went to some other school?
Yeah, but they were still in the city.
My boy. Take that to the sticks, and you have yourself safe cities. Boy.
I don't know. There you go, Rooster Teeth.
Boy.
Figure that one out.
Yeah, they're not going to listen because this is a podcast no one will listen to.
Oh, well. Back to square one.
Back to square one.
Another thing.
What's
the whole, like, John and Pyrrha video?
Oh yeah,
like how that's never mentioned again.
That's never meant some aspects of
that's
this
on our
season.
list of things that show up and are never mentioned again. Ruby's gray eyes, silver eyes,
sure.
Jean pretty much replaying the tape of and again shows he's growing as a leader. Like while Ruby's sleeping, what's Jean doing? Practicing, working on improving himself.
I mean that was
and crying.
Lots
of crying
from both his head and his penis.
But
that was a very interesting avenue they could have taken, because here's another interesting avenue, and feel free to critique this here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Sure, this could have been a nice subplot of him improving, but here's the thing. Here's something that could have tied into the main story that I think would have been a really good. Because here's the thing. Sure, he's practicing, but here's the thing. He is also like spending hours and hours and hours training. After hours, maybe that shows like he is tired in these things, and maybe there's a mission. Maybe they're attacked by a Grimm, and he almost gets everyone killed because he is not focused because he's been like up late at night, and then you get to talk about that.
Or you can find he's not sleeping because he can't. Well, yeah.
Whatever the reason.
Again, it's just something you could have addressed, and it's like it's not.
But would that have been a good idea?
Oh yeah. That would have been 100%. Because it would have shown, like, him... He is... Again, opportunity for growth. And I think that's...
An opportunity
like
for
how
growth,
you said Ruby's
also...
the main character of the series. I think that's probably why they didn't do it, because they've been doing these, like, focusing in on, like... not really B-cast... B characters. Very well developed B characters, but... Sure. They've been focusing away from the main cast quite a bit.
Well, yeah.
And I think people have been complaining.
But with that idea, like, not only do you have an opportunity for growth, but you also show, like, almost a glaring flaw in John's character in the fact that he can't, like, despite him wanting to grow, he can't move on past a certain thing.
Like, he's getting hung up.
He's getting hung up on something.
And it's like, he's...
So at least...
What you could have shown is how driven John is, and how he wants to grow. Like,
I was thinking more on the fact of, like, if I just keep, like, exercising and practicing, I'll move on. When it's like, John, that's just not going to cut it.
That's not healthy.
You need to exercise
Exactly.
your brain.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, even in the fights, it's still shown that he's... I mean, like, even with the wacky arm inflatable tube grim, he's like, guys, keep moving in a circle.
With his sword.
Sword. I love
Sword.
that. I love that. That was kind of cool.
I mean, I don't...
It wasn't like...
It seemed kind of redundant.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's like, think of it as, what I look at as is like, it's going from like, in sword combat, part of what makes a sword deal damage is the edge and the weight of the sword and how much you swing. So it's like, pretty much going from like a one-handed to like a two-handed like he did. More weight, more damage. Yes, you're moving slower. It's like, think about it like, what's going to do more damage, a hatchet or a battle axe?
I mean, my whole thing about it is, it's like, what's to stop that thing from just sliding right off?
I don't know,
He's like,
that's a very fair... Fling!
Fling! Now you just lost your shield.
I imagine there's probably some sort of lock when he does it.
There probably is, but
there
I'm
probably
just like,
is, but still, it's like, it would be a good image. Like, backswing, fling, oh. But yeah, but I mean, like, that's a fair thing. I mean, that's not,
I just think you're getting rid of the edge just to make more weight to it, which...
Well, the shield could have an edge to it.
It's not going to have...
But I mean, more weight's going to be more damage. It's like...
Yeah, but you're not getting... But you're getting rid of its, It's like you've just pretty much turned it into a bat.
Kinda, yeah. But there's still, like, that edge. That metal edge. That'll still cut.
Not as well as...
It's not going to be like... it's not going to be like a bat where it's going to bruise.
I think personally, I'd rather just have my sword and shield. Because then you still have the added benefit
have
of
defense.
A shield.
You're sacrificing defense, yeah. I'm not saying it's... I know what I understand the idea behind it. Do I necessarily agree with it? Probably not. Because again, like you said, you're sacrificing defense for offense, but it's like you're trying to
really
do...
worth it and all that?
Possibly.
Sure. Also, the fact that it's called the sword.
Sword.
Like how Ironwood has the gun.
Gun. That he just bitch slaps Grim with. Doesn't
Sure.
even fire, he just slaps him with it.
Lord, is there anything else that this season fucked up?
It's just like...
What does this... Here's an important thing. What does this say for Volume 4, Part 2? Otherwise known as Volume 5.
I mean, you have... It has to be good. Essentially, you have 4.1 is the question, 4.2 is the answer, and the answer has to be good.
Okay, what would you like to see in this new volume?
We all know what I'd like to see.
We all know what you would like to freaking see, and it's not happening. Something within the realm of reality.
I mean, what I'd like to see is Watts get found out. Guarantee. I want to see that. I want to see a showdown with the Belladonnas and Adam Taurus. I want to see the Belladonnas take the White Fang back from Adam. And I want to see the White Fang essentially used as a uniter rather than
I don't exactly
fear promoter.
Well, right. I don't exactly agree that, and it's really kind of just questioning my whole like inclusion of the Faunus in this entire storyline. But that's a debate
We've had that one.
We've had that one. But I'll just say this: it's like you want to take what is essentially a terrorist organization and try to rebrand it.
The way
it's like taking ISIS.
That was the other thing with Blake's storyline. It's like I don't think the White Fang started as like a true, like not true, more like a defender. Like more like kind of like protesters and like defenders of people. Like think of it as like the Black Panthers.
Well, right, but here's the thing though. Even when it was the most well-intentioned group,
I think they were still violent. But I mean,
still
they're not
have
like,
it be seen as like
it was more
a terrorist organization, like domestic terrorism, pretty much.
It was more like they were protecting rather than insinuating.
Sure.
Like, think of them as, like, they're trying to protect faunuses from being
right,
attacked, but what's happening
what
is they
is,
move
like,
to... I agree
right.
with you. They've become a terrorist organization.
Well, not just that, but even when they were seen as a protector for the faunus, but even as... Like,
Yeah,
you could easily see, like, even from the human side, that he's protector for faunus, like, no, they're terrorists.
Yeah, I could easily see that.
So it's like rebranding what has essentially always been a terrorist organization to some people.
I think a more noble organization.
Uh,
Or whatever. Just kill Adam or something.
I'd say it's more poignant now than back then, but even now, it's like trying to rebrand
Just
the
kill
White
Adam.
Fang. It's just like,
Just kill Adam.
why even like?
That's what I want.
Just I don't know. Make a new organization. Like I don't know. Fucking.
The Blue Fang.
Blue Tail.
The Blue Fang.
Get away from the Fang imagery.
No,
That's
Blue
not.
Fang.
That's not helping.
Blue Fang. But yeah, so that's one I'd like to see. I could care less if Ruby gets all back, like Team Ruby gets all back together.
Honestly, I could just care
I
less
see it
about
happening,
Ruby.
but I'm just like, I just don't care.
It's like Ruby. It's like Ruby finds out her special power. It's like, yeah, that's great, kid. Nobody cares.
What's John doing right now?
What's Yang doing right now?
What's Yang? Are Yang and John together somehow? Ugh.
What would you even say to that?
I'd just be like, that is so off the wall.
I don't know. What if she dyes her hair red?
Oh God. I'd be so thrown.
Triggered is what you would
Triggered.
be.
I'd be triggered. But yeah, I want to see Watts find out. I want to see some confrontation with the White Fang and Adam. Maybe
Do you want to see Claude getting Claude? Wait, is it Clyde? Claude? Butler?
Yeah. What about him?
I don't know. He wanted to
Get him fired? I
Did
mean,
he
what-
get fired or
Strung
killed?
up in a dungeon? What do you want with that plot line?
Something.
I don't care.
It's like, you'll never leave these grounds again. Literally the next episode, she walks out the
door.
secret entrance.
Walks right out the door. Pays a man to fly her away.
It's like, I'm going to keep you grounded in this room, young lady.
With
But
your
I'm-
sword
with
and
your
dust
sword
in
and
your room.
dust in your room.
And the door completely unlocked.
And me, just a helpless old man who is
And
unarmed.
no guards anywhere in the house.
Who's going to protect? Who's going to be your keeper here? Your little shit brother, Whitley, who could care less about any of this.
Who's gonna let you walk right out the door as well?
Yeah.
Where's your mother? Gotta go beat her.
Yep.
Totally, that's what happened. That's why she drinks.
Sure.
To get away.
I totally would believe that.
That's 100% what's going on. But yeah, see, the one thing I'd like, but it'd be too soon, is like pretty much the reveal that like Cinder and Pyrrha are one and the same now. And I'm like, if it's coming, it's not going to be in season 5. It's going to be like way the frick down the line.
Yeah, it's going to be in season not going to happen.
Oh, it'll happen.
It can happen in the fan fiction that you write.
I don't write anything.
Well, then now this could give you the motivation to start
God,
because
no, I got school. I got to go to school.
we all got to go to school. Oh wait, that's right. I don't.
No, you bastard.
Um,
But yeah, I that's one thing I want to see, but I'm like, that's not gonna come for like, if it's coming, it's not gonna be for a while. So, but yeah, season 5, 2 things: confrontation with White Fang, Watts getting find out. Maybe Oscar does something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yang shows her tits.
Yang shows her tits. Yeah,
We can. I can dream.
nudity.
I can always dream.
Oh, you can easily find that online.
Absolutely.
Somebody's done it.
But you know, if it was official, it'd just make it all the more sweeter.
This is officially what they look like. Really? All right.
All right.
Now
Anyway,
we're talking.
what would I like to see in Volume
Yeah, I was going to ask.
4.2?
Do you care what happens?
I kind of think I'm on that boat of just like I kind of want to see just where this is all going.
What's gonna
Like
where
I'm
are
just
you
gonna be
going with
along
this?
for the ride mostly. At this point, I'm just like,
Like,
where
there's
is this-
nothing you want to see.
there's really kind of nothing...
Other than Yang's tits.
Well, of course. I'm always hoping for Yang's tits.
And Crow coming out with a scythe naked.
Well, right, because
That's
that
the
would
other one you want.
Well, of course. He transforms into a bird that has no clothes on. Logic would dictate that he transforms
into a
naked.
human, and he's naked.
Um,
Makes sense.
I think at this point the plot has already offered so many questions that I feel, if answered, would satisfy me enough.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, that is something that has to happen in 5. There has to be some answering.
Sure.
You can't just be like, oh, well, now we're going to bring up more questions. You can't just keep adding questions. That's the thing. It's like, if you just keep adding questions, it's like, we're just not going to care.
Well, right.
You're going to lose people's interest, quite frankly.
I think there's enough here, because, like, nothing was answered in this volume.
Well, there was a little bit.
A little bit, but not a lot. So I just kind of am just going to be along for the ride this time and just kind of see where it all goes.
Yeah.
See where it all goes. Maybe Yang shows her tits. I mean, anything's possible.
Anything's possible with Ruby Dumb.
Yeah. Maybe Ruby dies.
Yeah. Whoa!
Went from,
we can only hope.
We can only friggin' hope. Is there
Silver eyes, my ass.
Was there anything else that we needed to discuss about this volume, or we're kind of beating the dead horse?
Did Salem do anything to Tyrion?
I think she just said that she was disappointed. Which, of course, if you're a parent speaking to a child...
I know, it's like, are they all her children?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Like, is the teddy bear the oldest? Is that what's going on here? He's just like, I've been with Mom the longest. I'm sick of looking at her. I'm going to go get some smokes.
Well, obviously...
He just comes back at 3 a.m. Where have you been? I was out with friends. What friends? Why haven't I met these friends?
Salem's just the mom of this
coven of evil.
Well, I mean, we've seen that, like, Ospen has history with, like, her associates, so... Yeah, sure, maybe... Shit, maybe Ospen used to work for Salem.
Maybe Cinder is Ospen's child.
That could also be true for some reason.
And she killed her dad.
That could also be true for some reason.
She killed her dad.
Did she kill Ospen? Well,
did you kill your father? Good, because he hasn't paid me alimony in like 6 years. His body's jumping bullshit.
He's always been gallivanting off with little boys.
It's a little hard to get an alimony check off a little boy.
But I think that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah, that's
a little bit.
Well, wait.
Now we just wait for the fall in Volume 5, and maybe they'll waste our time more, maybe not.
Yeah,
I guess we can...
You'll pretty much...
The only way to find out is to keep watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Of course, this has been the podcast that no one will listen to, so if you are listening to this, stop it.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed.
This is for dolphins.
This is for dolphins. God damn dolphins. Shit, you kidding me?
This is for dolphins.